Disclaimer: this podcast was not made to slander or speak ill of any author we will soon talk about. We will try our best to disassociate the author from their books.
This is a book discussion, and we are just speaking our opinions and not just speaking negatively about any book.
And this is a spoiler warning.
This is Chapter 7, The Lunar Chronicles.
This futuristic take on the fairy tales follows the character Cinder, who starts to learn more about herself and her past while a plague ravages the earth. Cinder, along with her new friend, tries to save the world from this ever-going disease and stop the evil queen Levana from taking over the earth.
Overall, I think this series had a good concept, and I like the series personally, but it's based on the fairy tales. It's a retelling of the popular fairy tales that we all know about, or we all know the concept and ending to. And since the plot is point for point as all the fairy tales, it kind of gets predictable and lacks a bit of originality.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool how she incorporated sci-fi into it, and seeing how she thought of people living on the moon and the whole cyborg thing. I thought that was pretty cool to make it a little more unique.
I don't get the whole living on the moon thing. Because
yeah, that was kind of random.
But I guess it's a cool idea. Since the people on the moon are technically aliens, in a way they're aliens.
Yeah, it's aliens, but they're closer to Earth, so they're more human.
Yeah, so
apparently they can also control people,
and they're able to function on the Earth. Which, there is a bit, of a stretch
they
there.
They can speak the language. Well, I guess they have the language thing.
Translator,
they,
I guess.
already have, space exploration. Personally, I think the plague had a bit of potential. It's just, as the story moved along, and it was a fight against Levana, the plague was just kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was there, but also
especially
not there.
When it started mutating and stuff and affecting lunars, and then it killed Cress's father. That was the sad part, but but
I cried.
It just became
no joke, I cried.
Oh, it just became less of a problem since Levana's yeah, I have a cure. But didn't the plague start from lunar the moon or Artemisia or whatever it's called?
Yeah, what's her name? What's the girl? Or before Levana,
Chanary or Canary?
Yeah, Channery.
I don't know.
I always said Channery.
I always thought Canary, but I'm probably very wrong.
Canary? I feel that kind of sounds like a food.
There's not.
Canary's a bird.
Though. I think it's
Channery. I think it's Channery.
Probably that.
But that sounds like January.
Channery. Canary?
We know who we're talking about, hopefully.
Shanari?
The queen before Levana. Shannari. Anyways, we should have researched how to pronounce this, whatever. She created it so she could control people.
That's so rude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
I just thought it was kind of weird because the Lunars were supposed to be immune, but then they weren't immune all of a sudden. So
the disease was mutating, so in a way, I guess it could start affecting Lunars.
I guess it's scientifically accurate. It's possible, obviously.
Yeah, how I don't know. But I don't know though, because since the disease is constantly mutating, how are they able to have a cure? You know what I'm saying? Corona?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. There's, they probably...
Prime example.
There probably could have been more scientific explanation.
And the flu. But overall, the plot is kind of cliche.
At least you could summarize the plot in, one whole sentence.
And then the fact that there's an evil queen trying to take over the world, which is kind of cliche, but it's okay. The whole thing's kind of cliche.
Well, yeah, because it's a retelling, so I guess.
How's all this stuff the girl who wasn't really rich, but then a prince falls for her, the girl Yeah, it has like all of like the best friend, like the friends who grew up together and they fell in love eventually. Like there's like those.
It's like that type of
So,
cliche.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of
Like different tropes.
Yeah.
yeah, those are tropes, but they're like cute. They're cute.
Yeah, I mean, you need some wholesome relationship, unproblematic relationships. Because,
I mean,
YA books tend to be problematic.
cough Cassandra Clare.
Yeah. Cough Sarah J. Maas.
Let's not expose Sarah J. Maas yet.
I think it was kind of cool that each book in the series had a new set of characters, but at the same time, it was like kind of weird because, well, first of all, when it changed perspectives, it just seemed confusing, and then you were like, but wait, what's happening to the other people, you know?
Yeah.
So
There was like one main plot with the whole Ivana thing, and so but then there were other smaller plots like, and I just thought that was kind of like distracting from the whole thing. So
But I mean, it was refreshing to see all those new characters, you know? Because, like, since it kind of gets boring if you're reading about, like, the exact same characters each book, you know? But, like, once there's, like, a new one, like, you're kind of looking forward to, like, learn about the new characters, you know?
yeah. I mean, sometimes when it changed perspectives to, like, the original so-called characters, I was just so sick of it. Like, in Cress, I love
Yeah.
Cress. Like, the book and the character. And then it switched perspectives to when Scarlet was stuck inside a cage. And I know that was, like, kind of traumatic for her. And, like, she was stuck on the moon with lunars. But, like, seriously, I was really bored.
But how do, like,
yeah, that was just unnecessary.
how do humans, like, survive on the moon, though? Like, since lunars are, like, you know, genetically different, how are, like, humans also able to survive?
There's, like, the dome, right? Because that's why they,
Yeah, but,
they had explosives.
But
and
if they were, like, in
to
the
explode
air,
the
you know, like,
dome.
in lunar air or whatever, like, when something bad happened, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. We
Who
don't question it.
knows?
It's sci-fi.
Yeah, maybe there's, I don't know, maybe humans are just genetically different in the future, who knows?
But I mean, the Lunar Society was really cool to see because compared to like other books, the society was pretty well developed. Because you don't really see a lot of Luna, but the parts that you do see, it's pretty well done.
Yeah, like there's a set government, there's like neighborhood areas.
There's society, like people like
It's kind of weird they have, like, one queen that's, like, controls the entire, like, planet or the entire moon, you know?
yeah.
Instead of rather than, like,
I
one
mean, the moon
section.
is really small.
But it's, like, larger than a country. A lot larger.
Yeah, I mean, Levana
Yeah, I mean,
was
that's
a tyrant.
why she's like
so.
the yeah.
But it was cool. I mean, like, along with how society was really cool on the moon, because it was really well developed. Like, because when they were talking about Cress's name, Crescent was a stereotypical name. She was basically the Emily of Luna, which is cool to see. I'm sorry. No hate to Emily's. It's a pretty name.
Or
Just, like,
Emma's.
I can't make any better.
I actually like the name choice though because not all of them, but like the girls from Luna, or I don't actually know about Levana. I forgot to research that. But they all have different names, but Crescent, Celine, and Channery can argue. We had this conversation. The queen before Levana.
Levana's sister, or
What's her name?
something.
Cinder's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. They, like, their names all mean moon, but they're so different, and, like, you wouldn't really know that they mean moon unless
I mean,
you
like,
searched it up, which
But
I
it's
did.
kind of
So-
weird. Because, like, you know, people on Earth aren't named.
Yeah, it's stereotypical.
People on Earth aren't named, like, Earth, or, like, named after, like, different meanings of Earth. So, like...
I mean, the Lunars are self-centered, like, very egotistical
Yeah.
people. So, like, it would make sense that they're, like, obsessed with the moon.
I mean,
so,
like, they're not...
like, they had a whole
Yeah.
glamour thing.
But, like,
so.
Americans are very egotistical, and they're not named, like, America. I mean, there's that one character from
America
the
Singer.
Selection.
Actually, America from the selection would beg to
But
differ.
she isn't
Yeah,
from...
and
She
people
isn't
named
from
their-
America, though. She's from Ilia, or...
Yeah,
Iliad is
Which
the
we'll talk about
future
later.
of.
Talk about the
I'm
specifics.
sorry. But people name kids after states like Georgia. So
Virginia.
Virginia.
Alabama. I would love to name my kid Arkansas.
So
Alaska.
I'm
Actually,
more of an Oregon person. You know, Alaska young.
The world development, surprisingly, like for how kind of like complicated it is, it didn't have that many holes, even though we did just find some. But it didn't have as many as other YA books. So.
And it also talked about like deeper themes, you know, like how Cinder was like treated as a slave since she's also like half robotic and stuff.
And I like.
Yeah, she's like kind of the minority.
Yeah.
Because it was like the Commonwealth, so like racism wasn't an actual thing anymore. Or yeah, but I guess cyborgs were minorities.
Yeah. And it was cool seeing the history, I guess, of their society with the Cyborg Protection Act and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, I liked how they added like that act thing, you know? It just makes it like it makes
Yeah, and then Kai.
Yeah, because
it makes like their
because Prince Kai had like survivor, not really survivors, but like he had guilt.
survivor's guilt, kind of. But I mean, like
It's not really survivors.
yeah, but I mean, like, it just makes the society seem like, you know, a thing or like, you know, stable-ish.
Yeah, it's more realistic.
Like that they're actually coming up with like, you know, these things like I don't know, acts in a way, I guess.
Yeah, like they're passing problematic laws and just accepting them. You know what I really love though? I love that the main female characters are all STEM related. Well, Scarlett's like less, but she's also, you know, she's independent. So
And like Winter is also a bit less too, but you know.
Winter has like good moral beliefs. And like, let's be honest, Cinder and Cress kind of carried. Scarlet and Winter were less important.
I mean, Winter, I liked Winter. She seems really sweet, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, but I really like the female representation, you know? And and how they didn't talk about guys the entire time. Like Cinder's main focus wasn't about like being with Kai. She like her focus was like making sure Kai doesn't like, you know, make a deal with Lavana or die.
Yeah. I love how like when she was like trying to like plan and stuff, Kai was just a bonus. She was like, oh yeah, and I get a guy, I guess.
Yeah, in her mind, it was always like, I need to save the world, kind of. Kai was over here, he's like, well, I kind of like Cinder, so...
Yeah, but like...
Yeah, it was like just a complete like role reversal.
But like but Kai was also like focusing on like the
good of his country.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was reading Cress, half the time he was just freaking out. He was just like, but what about Cinder? Is Cinder alive? So,
yeah.
I mean...
That was cute, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cute. I like the names, like Crescent Moon, like Cress. We already, like, talked about the moon thing, but, like, I just, like the... Because, like, Cress as a name, it's, like, normal, but then it, like, relates back to her lunar background.
And, like, Thorn, I think that's, like... I mean, you don't really see, like, the name Thorn, you know?
Well, Carswell
like,
Thorn, but...
Yeah, but he gets called by his last name. I mean, some characters get called by their last name. It's not always often.
Yeah. Because he's cool like that.
Yeah. Wasn't as much of a fan as Cinder. No hate, but, like...
It's, like, a weird
just seemed
name.
Like...
But, I mean...
Cinder, Scarlet, Wolf, and Winter just... Really?
Okay.
Winter...
Like, Cinder's like a good name, like at first, once you hear it, like, oh, sounds fine, but then once you think like what Cinder actually means,
yeah, like
then
Cinderella,
you're like,
and then Cinder. It's just, that's literally in Cinderella, that's her name. Her name is, well, I guess her name is Ella.
Actually, the more I think about Winter, the more I hate it, because every other lunar has a really nice moon name, but then there's just Winter.
Well, no, because her mom really liked Winter, and her mom was like Solstice or something. So I love that.
That's so weird.
I don't know. Winter's a weird name.
Just like naming a child after like a season name is just kind of weird.
I mean, there
Summer
is
is
an autumn,
debatable.
which is kind of pretty.
Oh, and autumn.
Summer's like overdone.
Summer.
Imagine if someone named their kids
I'm so
Spring.
sorry if your name is Summer or if your
Yeah, so
name
if
is Autumn.
Spring.
Summer is a perfectly fine name. It's just I think of Summer from Barbie Life in the Dream House.
I think of Summer. I think of Summer
we're
from
making it
Wonder.
worse.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Summer.
Yeah,
Wonder's such a
I
cute
still think of Barbie, but you know, she's just cool.
Barbie.
Back to Lunar Chronicles.
And back to
was a
Cinder.
Yeah, Cinder was a pretty cool protagonist. She was like not super cocky, which I liked. She was doubting herself a lot in the books, so
Like, she was the best, like, engineer in all of New Beijing. And she didn't, like, you know, like, brag about it. She was just like, yeah, I'm the best. Or, like, people say I'm the best or whatever. But she, like, doesn't go up and, like, yeah, I'm the best. Back off. You know?
Yeah, and she was
And
willing
she's
to help
awkward.
regardless.
Yeah.
I liked that she was able to create like really solid plans, but if something went the wrong direction, she could adapt to it and she wasn't like terrified because nothing's going according to plan, you know?
yeah, and yeah, she wasn't a control freak at all, which I thought it was cool because it's different from Livana, who was a control freak.
Yeah.
So.
And since she's a cyborg, like, you could tell how she felt insecure about a lot of, like, her cyborg parts. Because, like, she kind of gets scared of what people would think, you know, of her. Since they didn't really treat cyborgs as, like, you know, one of them. And especially, like, her stepmom's insults to her. Like, it kind of just blew her already low self-esteem.
And it was cool seeing how she was already insecure about her cyborg parts. And as a result, she didn't show it to Kai. So, like, all of it was, like, connected. It wasn't something random or anything like that. So.
Yeah, like, she just didn't want Kai to know. Like, she,
Yeah, at
because
the
when she
ball.
first met Kai, yeah. And then, yeah, and at the ball, you know, like, she just didn't want to show that she was a cyborg. Because, like, people would probably look down at her, you know, or probably think she's, like, she can't feel anything since she can't cry. And they're like,
Yeah,
oh, you
that was
can't,
so
you can't
sad.
feel anything. Yeah.
God, I feel bad. Crying
No,
is so much
but
fun.
it is. I love crying.
Like, I hate crying in front of people, but when I'm by myself and I just start
Movies
crying.
and books are some of the best things to cry to. Like, highly recommend.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, just cry, you know.
it's
Just
relieving.
gotta get good
Like,
crying.
it helps you mentally, emotionally.
I mean, when you cry, you do release endorphins, so you feel better after a nice cry.
Honestly, yeah.
But, like, it's sad that Cinder can't even cry. Like, she can't even cry about the fact she can't cry.
Or, like, the fact that her life was falling apart right before her eyes.
Yeah, it ties all together though because she didn't want to show like she when she fell down the stairs, right, at the ball, she didn't want people to see her cyborg foot. And so she like pulled up her lunar glamour, which was kind of even worse because, you know, lunars are bad. Like cyborgs are looked down upon, but lunars were literally evil. And so one bad thing was like replaced by a worse thing. And then that's the whole, it sprouted from there.
Or, like, at the ball, like, when she, like, lost her foot, that was just weird. Like, I know it's, like, I know. He gave it back to her at the end.
Oh, yeah! He, like, kept it as, like,
Yeah, like he would look at, he's like, oh, Cinder, even though she literally hated that foot, and it was her foot.
Yeah, and then his advisor was, like, questioning why it was there. Like, I'm sure there was, like, some type of, like, fungus on it, because, like, she walked around, it's dirty.
Yeah, like, his advisor was kind of just staring at him like, are you okay? Because you should be having a foot on your desk.
What a nice souvenir from their experience.
But he gave it back to her. So he doesn't even keep it.
Well, it's the play on, like, her glass slipper, but instead it's her actual foot.
Wait, what did she even do? Like, how was she able to walk without her
No,
foot?
because
She didn't.
that foot was, like, first of all, it was too small for her anyways, because she hated it. And then, Dr. Erland gave her a new foot and a new hand.
I love that.
With, like, bonus features, like, pew pew pews. I don't know why I said it like that.
She just finger guns?
Pew pew pew! Literally, they were literally finger guns.
If only people could watch us.
Anyways.
It was cool seeing her slowly accept herself as Lunar and improve. Like, at first, she struggled. She wasn't talented. She was technically naturally gifted, but she had to, like, get used to it more, so, and deal with the self-hatred that came with it, because Lunars were evil and all that stuff.
And that she was a cyborg, too, so, like, being a cyborg and a Lunar, all the humans would probably just, like, through...
Yeah, like, Lunars hated cyborgs because they could, like, see through the glamour, but then humans hated cyborgs and Lunars.
She was, like, both of, like, the most hated things, but, like, she was still strong, and, we love that. Female representation.
Yeah, and she used her differences, like, as power.
Exactly.
Like, her as a cyborg, she had, like, guns in her hands, like,
exactly.
That's so cool.
Like, why would they hate cyborgs? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, like, that's so cool. Like,
They can literally...
I would like some, please.
Like, you could shoot people through your hands.
Sorry.
Anya's really having a great time with her finger guns.
Yeah, like, I would want finger guns.
Yeah.
But in contrast to Kai, she wasn't lovesick or obsessed with him. I mean, she was kind of thinking about him a lot, but as we stated before, he wasn't her priority. Like, he didn't even make the top 5. He wasn't her main goal.
Yeah.
Sorry,
he was kind of just there.
We
like, love Kai, but, like...
I like him, too.
Yeah, he's there. He's cool, I guess. He's acceptable.
He's really hot.
Well... Yeah, he is.
I don't know. I think Thorn is hotter, but it's okay.
But Asian
I think they
representation.
Were all hot except for...
Yeah,
well,
Asian
actually,
representation.
no, just Kai and Thorn. Wolf didn't really make me...
Wolf kind of made me uncomfortable, but we'll talk about it later.
Jason was like...
Jason was there. Jason?
Yeah.
Jason was just there, honestly. Like,
he was fine.
He just...
Alright. They're just not in our top 5 guys. 5 guys.
I mean, I thought it was kind of weird that she was just able to accept the crown to rule Artemisia, because she didn't really have any experience leading or anything.
But she did lead her team, or the crew, the Rampian crew.
Did she? She kind of just, like, tried her best.
Yeah, but, she was. Like, you could see that she was, like, struggling to keep her life together.
I mean, she's overwhelmed, so I guess it's understandable.
Yeah, but, like, taking on a whole, like, planet, that's just a big jump.
Well, it's not a planet, it's a moon.
Well, but the moon is, like, as large as, like, Mercury, and Mercury is technically a planet.
That's true.
It's larger. The moon is larger than Pluto.
Yeah, but the moon is also, like, a different, like, makeup. Or, what's it called?
Yeah. Well, because it's drawn in by
material?
Earth's gravity. But anyways, we're not here to talk about science.
Or astrology.
I mean, yeah, and she had to turn Luna into a democracy, which that's hard.
Yeah, from, like, a monarchy to, like, a democracy. That's, like, a big, big jump.
Yeah. I mean...
But it was cool to see her develop from cyborg to lunar and then princess.
Also a female ruling a planet. Like, I know Lavana was, like, a ruler, but, like, she was just cruel and, like, but seeing Cinder as, like, the ruler, it just felt like...
And she's Asian.
Yeah.
Like...
Well,
Asian rep.
Well, technically, they weren't supposed to be, like, Asian, right? Because they all...
Yeah, they're lunar.
They're, like, common...
Oh, yeah, she's technically not... I always thought of her as Asian, though.
Well,
I mean, she doesn't really look Asian. But like she grew up
Yeah, she has, like,
in
brunette hair.
like the
She
Asian
had more,
type
I guess, of
thing.
the Asian culture.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool to see,
was
like,
Asian.
like, you know, as her as the ruler kind of seems like an ideal, like, you know, government or, you know.
But you know who is Asian, like for real? Kai
Like,
is!
Yes!
Hi!
Asian representation.
We love. And he was self-aware. He was like, yeah, I know that I'm probably not going to be good at rolling, but I'm trying my best.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he was
like,
just
right now I'm feeling really useless. I'm useless, guys, so do whatever you want.
Yeah, and then, like, I love how the crew kind of just, like, left him out for some things or, like, didn't tell him, like, their entire plan. So, like, when something happens, he's just like, what?
Yeah.
When they kidnapped him, and he's just like, what?
I mean, overall, he was just really clueless because he could not figure out that Cinder was Princess Celine. Like, come on. All the signs were
Yeah.
there.
Oh my god, when at the end of Crest, when Cinder was like trying to reveal herself, and she's like, yeah, I found Princess Celine. And he's like, wait, that Scarlet girl, is that it? Is it the other
Like,
girl?
What is it,
It's like,
Crest?
oh, the girl you rescued from the satellite. It's like, no. It's like, who else do you know? Is it Thorn?
Thorn would be a great princess.
Thorn would be a great princess.
I mean, honestly, I think Thorn would be a better ruler than Cinder, but Thorn wanted to explore. So
Well, I know, but I mean, Thorn was kind of like reckless, so I don't know if he'd be good at ruling necessarily. But
I think he's better as, like, you know, a part of, like, the team. I don't think
yeah,
he'd
he was
be
like
a good
a soldier
leader, though.
boy.
Yeah, he's like a soldier.
Well, he literally was in the army, but
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
But then he was like struggling whenever they went to battle.
yeah, because he didn't have like superpowers.
Yeah, because Cinder could like control people. Wolf just turned into a wolf, and then
Scarlet could fight, and then Crest, like,
Crest-
carried.
Cress was like hacking away. She's like, boop, 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 boop.
And then, like, but then, like, back to Kai, like, I guess he was, like, a like, what's the right word? The representation for, like, Earth, you know?
the
But, like,
representative.
yeah, the representative. My bad. But, like, he wasn't that bright of a politician, like, no hate. Like, he was going,
He was like a people's
was going
person,
through-
but
yeah. Like, he was going through the marriage. Like, I knew it was part of the whole plan, but, like, he was kind of just gonna whore himself out.
I mean, he was kind of thrown into the political position. Like he wasn't even
That's
expecting.
true. Like, didn't his dad die, like, at a
yeah,
random
his
time?
dad died like within the first
the plague.
20 chapters.
Yeah, and then
Are
he was
there
kind of
20
just like,
chapters?
you know, like, his dad died. He's like, oop, I guess I'm the ruler now. And then Lavana, like, just calls him, being like, I'm sorry about your loss. And he's like, how did she even find out?
It's like, hey kid, I know your dad just died, so I was just asking, you want to marry me?
Like, it would be such a good idea to, like, get married.
It's like, right now,
Yeah.
I know you're like really upset, but actually, if you don't marry me, I will kill the rest of your people.
So just think about it.
I know. Yeah, I know that people are literally dying everywhere because of this plague that I started, but the wedding ring, please.
But, like,
is, like,
come on. We'd be the power
the
couple.
aesthetic. The
Yeah,
aesthetic of
come
two
on.
rulers, you know, moon, earth, it's too good.
So many
get
Instagram
goals.
photos.
I
Yes.
know.
Oh my god, if they made a TikTok together.
Couple goals. They would literally be on my For You
Collab.
page.
Collab of the century.
Collab. Yes, the collab of the century.
Yes.
Charlie D'Amelio would literally be knocking on their door for a collab.
I mean, I'm just saying, I would for sure love to see them on my For You page and my following page, and I would be
Exactly.
an avid fan.
Yeah, and this is a reminder for you to like all of our TikToks.
Yeah, at Book Expectations Podcast.
Yes.
Yay.
But I mean, it was kind of annoying how he found out Cinder was a robot. He was like, well, it's not robot, cyborg. He was immediately like, ew, no, why did you lie to me?
I mean, like, yeah, I guess you'd be upset, like, when someone lies to you about, like, those type of things, but, like, he shouldn't be treating her like she's some, like, burden all of a sudden because she's a cyborg.
Yeah, but then when he did discover that she was lunar, then I kind of understand it, because he thought she, like, brainwashed him the entire time, and that's, like, that's actually really scary. I can't talk.
Yeah. But, like, Cinder didn't know she was lunar, so she could have told him that, but, like, he probably wouldn't have believed her, because, you know, lunars lie, too.
Moving on to Scarlet, the rookie of the group. No hate.
I mean, yeah.
She was stuck in a cage half the time, like, you know...
I'm, like, crying about it.
Okay, well, her finger, you know...
Oh my god, brutal.
Her personality was, like, was, like, bland.
Yeah, she was supposed to be, like, tough and stuff, but I felt like that was just kind of the author reaching, trying to make her cooler, but I don't think it really worked out.
Yeah, I think because the author wanted to make it more like a powerful couple with her and Wolf, but Wolf carried. You know,
it kind of just seemed like a power imbalance.
She tried to be like the alpha of the relationship, the person taking the lead, but I mean,
yeah, her personality near the end was just, oh, I'm Wolf's mate.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Mates.
And, like, when her grandmare died, she was kind of just, like, you know...
Yeah, I mean, she was reckless, but, I mean, the passion was there, so it's good.
Yeah. I mean, she was kind of cliche with, like, the fiery redhead, but, I mean... You know, not the most original, but not the worst.
The Lunar Chronicles has a lot of cliches, and...
Yeah.
She was a cool character, like, I guess. I don't know.
I know she's, like, based on Little Red Riding Hood, but I did hear, like, it was a little bit of, like, Beauty and the Beast, too, or something. Because, like, Wolf is, like, part beast or something.
That's true.
And, like, Wolf? Like, what type of name is Wolf?
Oh my god, Wolf.
But his actual name, what was his actual name? It was, like, Ziev?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Why
that's
Wolf?
Cooler, kind of.
Yeah.
But I think Wolf is just to, like, be, you know, like, based on the fairy tale.
Yeah, just to make it more clear that he is a wolf.
I thought he was really creepy because he literally stalked Scarlet trying to get her to trust him in the beginning, and that was just...
He's like, I want a job.
Yeah. And then Scarlet...
They were, like, together on her farm or something, and then, like, he started getting obsessed with tomatoes. That was funny.
Yeah, that was cute. And then when Scarlet was gone, he was, like, hugging this can of tomatoes.
Yeah.
He's like, my Scarlet is gone.
I mean, as long as he finds comfort in a can of tomatoes.
I know, like,
Love
it's
that
the
for
little
him.
things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that Scarlet is a can of tomatoes, but, you know.
I mean, that's more personality than she had in the book.
Sorry.
It just came out. I didn't...
Wow. You just said a can of tomatoes has more personality.
I don't know. I don't even like tomatoes.
Okay, that's just sad, but...
Tomatoes are so good, okay? Like,
No, they
Wolf
suck.
can agree with us.
Wolf is, honestly, even though he's low-key an animal, he was a mood, you know?
Low-key, but, like, kind of high-key.
Yeah. He was just over here. He was he was always in his feels about his girlfriend, even though he met her, like, a week, 2 weeks before. I don't know how many months. And then...
And, like, he was just willing to help her find, like, her grandmother. Like, that's kind of sus.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, you know, I don't trust him, but actually, I'm gonna ride this train with him for, like, I don't know, some days, and he's gonna protect me.
Like, wasn't she
And then they
kind
made
of
out on the
scared
train.
though? Like this
Mhm.
guy, this buff guy that looks like a wolf, like is kind of an animal.
And he was like,
And he
yeah.
howls when he's done, like, beating people up, like...
Yeah, and he, like, the
Oh.
first time she met him was him literally in, like, a gang match with him fighting another person.
like I
and
can
literally
tell.
acting like a vicious beast. I don't know, I would be scared.
I can tell, like, Mayer was trying to make Scarlet all tough, but, like, just suddenly seeking, like, comfort in this random guy that's, like, really creepy is kind of sad.
Yeah. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
We understand
Moving on to a
it.
better character,
Oh my
aka
gosh,
the
yes.
best character, Cress!
Yes!
Oh my god, I love
We
Cress.
love Cress. Like, her name, it's like a vegetable. I mean,
No,
I know
no,
it's
no,
from
no,
Crescent
no.
Moon, but you know.
No, because Rapunzel is also a vegetable, and so, like, Cress is, like, that
They like
thing.
matches.
Yeah!
I
It's, like,
guess-
kind of cool, but also kind of weird. But, like, also kind of cool because it comes from Crescent Moon, like, low-key,
Oh my god,
big brain
bonding
move.
over vegetables.
Oh my god,
Yay!
vegetables! Cabbage!
Cabbage.
Honestly, cabbages are good, so I feel that.
Yeah.
But being named after Cabbage? No, thank you.
I don't know what you're talking about. Cabbage is a great name. Their nickname will be Cabby.
Cabbage in
Cabbage, aw.
Alabama.
I think it was so cool to, well, it's not cool, like, kidnapping is very serious, but I think it's really, not deep. It's insightful to see that Cress was kidnapped.
I mean, it went along with the Lunar Society thing where they, like, kidnap babies.
Yeah, not shells, not like,
Yeah.
Well,
They
she's still,
would
like,
like
a
kill
kid.
shells, you know?
well, no, they wouldn't. They
Yeah.
were using their blood, but they said they were killing shells. Because the blood was used for the cure. That's the tea.
Yeah, and
It
then
was a whole
Sybil was like,
scandal.
Sybil's like being all rude and was like, yeah, I'm gonna take Cress, and then literally just shoved her into a satellite, thinking Cress was like okay with it.
Yeah.
Well,
I
no,
mean, she was-
because Cress wanted to be, like, closer to Earth so she could, like, hack into stuff, but she kind of created her own prison, but then Sybil just never let her out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
she's
just,
like
like,
so
excited,
abusive.
too.
Yeah.
But one of the plot holes that I still, like, want answers to, because I thought it would be cool, is how did Cress become a hacker?
Yeah, like, it just
Yeah, they
randomly
didn't, like-
said, like, she's the best hacker. Like, okay, but how?
She's a kid.
But I do like how, you know, she, like, females, you don't really see females as, like, a computer programmer, you know, going back to the
Yeah.
STEM thing, you know, I really like the...
STEM.
Yes, feminism! And Cress carried the entire team. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's not
She was
forget
able to
that.
survive in the satellite the whole time. Like, she was imprisoned for how many years? I can't even remember. But
Like, her
she-
entire life, basically.
Yeah, but she was
Yeah.
well, it's kind of weird how she was able to socialize really quickly, but also she also didn't really know how
No,
to.
she didn't. She
Yeah,
she
she
like took a
didn't.
whole book to learn how to
she-
socialize.
With Thorn she did, because she's like, wow, I
She's
know
also-
all your information.
Like,
No,
yeah.
well, Thorn, she literally, like, in the middle of the desert, she's like, you don't even love me, I love you. Like, come on, like, that's not knowing how to socialize.
Yeah, well, clearly you can tell, like, she doesn't get enough
She was
practice with enough
awkward,
people.
but
Yeah.
it was funny that she was
But-
fangirling though.
Yeah, I thought it was cute. Oh my god, I love Crescent Thorn, but we'll talk about it later. But seeing her, like, her obsession develop into, like, knowing more about him, I feel like it said a lot about her character almost, because, like, seeing
Yeah.
her develop that way.
And since she was, like, able
Love.
to open up to Thorn, like, she was slowly able to open up to, like, the rest of everyone, or, like, everyone else, since, you know, she spent her entire life alone in, like, a satellite.
Thank God the Rampion crew, like, appreciated her, because she
Yeah.
literally, without her, like, she literally, like, hacked to make sure that, like, the people couldn't track their ship.
Yeah.
And she, like, literally...
And
if
even
it
before
wasn't
she
for
actually
her-
knew the people, like, while they were escaping and she was still in the satellite, she was, like, blocking all the signal things.
Yeah, and she, like, communicated to
Yeah.
Cinder. I'm sorry, I can't
Through
speak.
that robot thingy. Or through Kai's
Yeah.
old robot.
What's her name again?
like,
I forgot
oh my
her
God.
name, but whatever.
Yeah. Kind of irrelevant, but you know.
Yeah.
But, like, she was able to give Cinder the lead about Lavana and her plans, you know? Which led to, like, Cinder's entire, like, plan to take back Lunar or Artemisia.
Yeah. And in Winter, she sacrificed herself to give Cinder and Scarlet more time to escape, so love that.
I know. And she literally, like, once she got, well, not when she got away, but, like, when she was able to get, not really escape, but, like, when she was able to access the security things, she made sure that they could, like, enter rooms without having to scan ID and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
she was so
Like-
far away, but she was still helping them.
Exactly. Like, the
Yeah.
entire team, like, would have fell apart without her. You know, because she was able to get all, like, the security cameras off, like, unlocking all the doors and, like, the regular hacking things.
Literally.
The team would not even be able to go through with their plans without her.
And she could she was able to hack, like, all these, like, government databases. Databases? Whatever, data, whatever.
Data.
But she would constantly give them, like, information about Lavana's plans within an hour. So.
Yeah.
Literally an icon.
Yeah.
Speaking of icons, Thorn.
Like, I liked Thorn. Like, he was super cocky the entire time, you know? But, and, like,
but I mean, it went with his character.
like
And his name, like,
knew,
matches his personality, sorry.
he knew he was cocky. Like, he was self-aware that he was cocky. Like, unlike certain cocky characters that we know
Yeah,
of.
literally. In his short story, he literally went like, yeah, I'm pretty self-absorbed, but it's okay.
Like,
Yeah.
he knew.
So-
Like, and he didn't think that he was worthy enough for Cress, because, like, you know...
Yeah, he's
he
like,
had those...
I'm the first guy you've ever met. Like, how do you know? Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to break your heart. Like,
Like, you could tell that he was, like, putting up that, like, cocky front to, like, make people, you know, not know that he had those insecurities and stuff.
Yeah. And even though, speaking back to the short story, he, like, had a crush on this girl. Like, he was, like, the popular kid, and he had a crush on this, like, quiet little girl. And I thought that was really cute. Because, you know, humbled him. And then how Crest, like, viewed him as this hero and someone who was, like, above everything else. And he was like, yeah, that's not true. And he tried to, like, go against everything she was, like, saying that she stalkerishly researched. So,
yeah,
love
like,
that.
he confessed that all the excuses that he made were just excuses to get him out of more severe punishment. And, like, yeah, he was kind of upset to admit it, but he was, I guess, vulnerable enough to say that he wasn't that good of a person.
But Winter, like, I think she was, like, super cute, you know, most of the time. But, like, she was, like, so precious and stuff. But, Doris, are you literally checking yourself out?
I'm sorry.
Anyways, back to Winter. Well, I liked how, like, even though she was lunar, she still, like, stayed good, you know?
She
And
tried her best.
she was, like, also a bit psychotic, though, because, like, she was like, the walls are bleeding! And then, like, all her friends are like, are
But
you...
that was sad.
Yeah, but, like, all her friends are kind of just like,
Yeah. And then Jason was the only one who understood her.
Yeah. And I liked how she was, like, childhood friends with Cinder, you know? And then, like, when she saw Cinder, she's like, oh my gosh, Celine! And Cinder's like, what?
She's like, it really is her. And that's so cute.
But it was sad that, like, Cinder didn't recognize her, you know?
Yeah. But I'm sure they rebuilt their friendship eventually. I love that Winter was the people's princess.
Like, people really liked her. And she tried her best to, like, please everybody.
Yeah. But it was also really cool how all the subjects accepted her for who she was.
Honestly,
Honestly,
I think Winter should have been the one to, like, rule Artemisia. Is that how you say it? Artemisia? Like, I think she should have been the one, but I mean, Winter was, like, a bit,
but then she got like her hallucinations, and
Yeah,
so
she was,
she's,
like,
unreliable.
she was not in the right frame of mind to be a ruler, but, like, maybe if she was, like, mentally stable, she probably could have been the one to rule Artemisia, and then, Cinder could have been with Kai.
She's more qualified than Cinder because
Like,
Well,
yeah, and
in,
especially that Winter has been living on, like, Artemisia her entire life. And, like, Cinder, like, doesn't really know, like, the ways of lunars, or, like, government, how,
Yeah.
like, and she was just adjusting to being a lunar. I think, like, Winter would have been more qualified than Cinder.
you know what? I do like how like the scars on her face, even though Levana tried to make her less pretty like the Snow White thing, I liked how they made her even more beautiful almost and made her a stronger character.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like telling people who do have like scars that they don't take away anything and
Doesn't
they just
take away
make
your
you
beauty.
you. Yeah.
And also,
Everyone listening
I
will be
almost
so
forgot
beautiful.
Winter's POC.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah!
Literally, I almost forgot.
Oh my god, we love that. Because, like, Snow White, like, she had skin as white as snow. No, she
No,
is a
like-
beautiful.
Like,
No.
having albino skin isn't the most beautiful thing, And I love how,
Yeah.
like,
that sounds like a vampire to me.
I love how, like, like, the most beautiful, like, princess in a fairy tale is, like, POC. I really love that.
You know what? It was really sad how she went insane after controlling Scarlet to kill Amory, but she recovered kind of pretty well because she loved her people and wanted to give them freedom, so that like kind of motivated her to continue
Yeah,
on.
she was able to like retake care of like the, what's it called, like the menagerie, the petting farm zoo thing. Where she used to keep Scarlet in her cage. She like took care of the animals there, and she was able to like get her own space to feel free.
You know what? I'm starting to understand why Scarlet was so annoyed because she was literally treated like an animal.
Like, in a petting zoo.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
yeah.
also, like, Wolf, since he's, like, a wolf, people kind of, like, treated him like he was an animal,
Yeah.
And then, like,
Levana,
Levana kind of, like, made him, like, a lapdog,
Yeah.
Like, a literal lapdog.
Yeah, Levana was so pedophilic. I'm sorry, I can't
Pedophilic and gronophilic at the same time. Like, how does someone achieve that, Like,
I know.
Like, literally, she wanted to get married to Kai. Like, I get, it's all part of her plan, but, like, wanting to get married to this tiny little boy just makes her seem so sus.
Like, Kai was barely 18, I'm pretty sure. And, she was at least 40.
Yeah,
and, like,
she was old.
Like, and when she was younger, she was, like, in love with that guard who's 10 years older than her.
Yeah.
Like, I don't...
10 years is... questionable.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, you know what they say, age is just a number.
I don't know about that.
but, I don't know,
but
there are legal problems with that logic.
Well, I don't know, just her obsession
when
with
you control
Kai.
them.
Yeah, that's
just...
He was, like, in diapers when she was, like, an adult.
Yeah, when she was, like, in her 20s.
We don't appreciate.
But, like, her past was just... I can tell she was, like, the evil queen. You know how, like, the evil queen always has a bad past? But it was sad how, like, her sister was all mean to her. Wait, was it her sister?
Her sister made her, like, burn her own skin.
Yeah, like, her sister...
That's why she used the glamour.
So like a
'Cause she was
bad
known as the
past
ugly
made her like
princess.
really bad person.
Yeah, because like it's like that whole thing where it's like if you've been abused, you're more prone to be abusive.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, and like the people love Channery, and so her being the only one who knows that like Channery's not a good person, and yeah, that's traumatizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people hated her.
And she's like so cruel to Winter. Like, in addition to all her like cruel qualities, she was like super mean to Winter.
Yeah, and then she was like, and then Winter was all like, yeah, but she's so nice to me because she acted like she gave Winter a lot of stuff, but she didn't.
Yeah.
She literally, like, she verbally abused her, like, Stockholm Syndrome?
Yeah, and she literally like you know the execution things where
The execution.
like guards would be executed.
The ex.
The execution things where if like guards did the wrong thing, she would like kill them in front of Winter, and that would like trigger Winter to like all her hallucinations. Like that is straight up evil. So
Yeah.
she's a terrible person.
But she did have
Yeah,
a bad past.
but we knew that.
And she was like, it was sad how like she glamored herself the entire time because of public perception. But it's like sad how, you know, she wanted to seem like this beautiful queen and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even with her, like, even during her wedding, she didn't even want to take off her veil because she didn't want cameras to see her true self, which is pretty sad.
Yeah.
And then wasn't there that time where like, I don't know, like I don't remember, like Cinder saw her saw her underneath, and then Cinder's all like, she's not as beautiful as you think she is. Like, it's just, you know, that like,
Yeah, she has wrinkles. She's burnt.
like it's
Like,
sad.
Also,
Yeah,
You
Cinder
know?
was just like staring at her, and she was just like
being all rude about it.
yeah, like Levana was very evil, but you know, there's certain layers to it, and Cinder kind of exposed one of her worst fears.
Like, she was insecure about the way she looked, and then Cinder was like being all rude about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of
And-
mean.
but, like,
I love how we're sympathizing with this literal villain.
Yeah. But I mean, she wasn't very strategic as a villain. Like, she was literally beat by a group of barely out of puberty teenagers. Like, come on.
And like she put so much effort into
Literally.
marrying Kai because she wanted to like legally take over Earth. Like, no, you have guards. You have mutant wolf lunar humans.
you have
Yeah,
the
just like
disease
kill
too.
everyone, take it. Like,
And she
why
had
do
the
you
cure.
need to marry him?
Yeah, all the odds were for her, and
Like,
she still
That
lost.
just
Yeah.
like the fact that she chose to just legally take it by marrying Kai just
Yeah.
adds
Yeah,
to the amount
why?
of sus.
Yes, I'm going to kill all your subjects if you don't obey, but I will marry you. You know, that's a great honor.
Like she threatens him like all these things, saying like, "Oh, I'll do this if you don't marry me." Like she could have just done it anyway instead of like
Yeah.
going through all this effort and all this money, probably trying to marry Kai.
If she didn't relocate the wedding, then like Cinder and the rest of the Rampion like crew wouldn't have been able to overthrow her in the last book. So
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
the
like
point?
she was winning the entire time until like, you know, the very end. Yeah, like I don't get how like all of a sudden Levana's like, yeah, I give up. Maybe she was like tired of fighting, or like
No, it was because Cinder beat her at like a mind battle.
no, but
Like,
then
It was like,
phew. Oh, was it? Because I remembered like, I don't know, at the end of Winter where like, you know, Levana's like, I don't want to do this anymore, or something like that. I forget.
Yeah. I
well,
don't
like
know.
Cinder beat her, but then before Cinder like could.
How does
do
like a
anything,
mind
I
battle
guess-
work? They're kind of just like.
Yeah, because
No,
remember
they
she,
were trying to like
destroyed
control
their
each other's
mind.
bodies.
Like Sybil, like she literally like made her go insane.
But like, what would
Yeah.
that look like to other people? Kind of just like staring at each other angrily.
Just like pressing at your temples, just.
And she's like
just
sweating
focusing.
and struggling, and she's just like,
It's just like you're like moving your arms, but like not actually moving them, and you're like, no.
And like
so
everyone,
funny.
yeah, and they just like collapse to the ground. They're like,
They're like, oh my god.
Everyone else is like, should we help them?
One of the most well, actually most of the characters are unproblematic,
I mean,
but very much unproblematic is Iko.
oh my god, I
Because
love
she was quite
love
literally
her.
not alive.
Like, she was a robot, you know, or like she was also like technically her personality was like a chip or programmed. But, like, you know, she didn't let that affect her good vibes.
Yeah. She had that comedic relief, and we kind of needed that.
Yeah. And love that Thorn gave her like the new body of like a beautiful girl. Like that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember like Cress like got, you know,
Yeah.
She got
like jealous.
of a robot.
No,
She's like, she's a robot.
Yeah, no, because Thorn was literally like feeling the girl up because she's like she looked.
Well, because he was
realistic.
blind.
Oh yeah, he was blind.
And then
But he
Cress
knew
is
you
all like,
were-
but it was
He's like,
kinda
I knew I
funny.
chose well.
Yeah.
And it was so,
But we'll talk about that a little later.
it was so
Yeah.
cute how like she would fangirl over Kai and Cinder. Well, she would also fangirl over
Yeah.
Kai, but like she's like, oh my gosh,
literally us in the book.
yeah.
Oh my god!
Honestly-
representation for the fangirls.
Oh my gosh, really?
Iko was
Iko-
just everyone's everyone's thoughts put
oh my
into
god,
a
it's like
character.
it's almost like Meyer wrote her like readers as a character, like a part of the whole
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
But it was kind of sad how she was like a part of like their plane the entire time.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
she was
yeah.
the plane. She's like, I'm
Yeah,
so
she's
ugly.
like, I can hear like all the speakers and whatever, and I was like, that must
Wait, wasn't
suck.
there also
She
that
could hear
wasn't there that
the sexual tension?
wasn't there that part where she's like, "Ew, I'm so big and bulky and ugly," and Thorn's like, "No, my plane is beautiful."
Yeah.
Thorn
He
was
was like,
so
what do you
insulted.
mean? I'm so proud of the Rampion.
God.
Like, be grateful.
I got the true like the true ship is Thorn and his ship. Like that's the
For
true
sure,
couple.
Press.
But like, and I know she wasn't like actually human, so she didn't really have situational awareness. But her situational awareness sucked,
Like,
and it was
I mean,
kind of irritating.
she did have personality though. Like she had more personality than like
Yeah,
book characters in books
Scarlet.
I've read. Yeah, and Scarlet.
Oh, true. She has more personality than a can of tomatoes.
Literally.
true. It's a scale. It goes from Scarlet to Can of Tomatoes to Iko.
And to everyone else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Iko was like the cinnamon raisin of the characters.
Yeah, she brought the spice.
Yeah, the
She has-
spice.
She has flavor.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I think Cinder was like a good whole grain.
Yeah. She was
Yeah,
she was
just
deep
a little
red.
bit better than Iko, but solid choice.
Yeah. Right in the middle of our red ranking scale.
And then, you know,
Cress?
Kai's like
Oh.
a high white bread.
Yeah, he's a nice white bread.
Yeah,
he's
he's-
pretty plain.
He's basic, not a bad option, of course.
White
Just
bread slaps.
there.
White bread does slap.
He's a classic.
Oh my god, my
He's
mom
just normal.
my mom
average.
bought white bread and like my week is thriving at the moment.
You know, like the foundation of a
white bread and
good peanut butter and
Nutella?
jelly.
Yeah. No,
Or peanut
Nutella
butter
is so
and
much
jelly.
better. I don't know what you're talking about.
My bad. You know,
I mean, honestly, both. Any option.
you know, like I would, you know, vibe with a good peanut butter and jelly though.
Yeah, I love peanut
Yeah.
butter and jelly.
That
Cress, we love Cress. She's
Like-
a good French toast.
like,
Like-
so sweet and like
Yeah.
eggy.
Just one. Just one of the
And the
good.
spice.
Like, she has a good personality that you just want to have every morning.
You know,
Yeah.
soaked
Start your day
soaked in
off
that
right.
good personality.
Exactly.
Thorn
And
is a
her
baguette.
counterpart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very fun bread. Nice and long.
Baguettes, you know. He's got class. He is out there. He is like
Yeah.
a
Oh my
fancy
god.
wee wee.
Hard on the outside, soft on the inside.
Exactly.
Lavana was like a burnt bread. She was like
she's
down
burnt
there.
bread.
Scarlet was like,
she was.
Scarlet was like a whole
Scarlet?
wheat.
Yeah.
Scarlet was whole wheat. She was.
You know, Wolf
And
was like
then
a
Wolf
sourdough.
was maybe sourdough.
Right
Yeah,
underneath
Like-
it.
You know, like
I don't
sourdough,
like
you can
sourdough.
make it. You can make.
Sourdough is just.
You can make a bunch of things with sourdough. You know, like you can make like gnocchi with sourdough bread.
Gnocchi.
Like you know,
Sourdough bread is fine.
it
not
has
really.
potential.
I personally don't really like it.
Yeah,
but-
potential. No hate if
you
you do
know-
like sourdough bread.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
like
just don't like
honestly,
it.
all these opinions are just what we've compiled.
Thank you for listening to Book Expectations with Anya, Doris, and Isabel.
Email us at bookexpectationspodcast@gmail.com. That is bookexpectationspodcast@gmail.com for any recommendations on what books you'd like to hear next.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and friend us on Goodreads at Book Expectations Podcast, or click the link in our bio.
Be sure to join us next week when we talk about part 2 of the Lunar Chronicles.